Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel or any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing a rare Japanese domestic market Grand Seiko Spring Drive GMT. This is the SBGE209, 39.5 millimeters in stainless steel. The watch has an unconventional case shape, distinct from just about everything else it sells beyond its domestic shores. It is a substantial watch in spite of being 39.5 millimeters in diameter. The watch has a broad spacing, though 46.5 millimeters lug-to-lug. The solid end links extend it to 51.2, so it does have an impressive wrist presence. 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs and a thickness of 13.7 millimeters. Thrown it on my wrist, the steel watch is substantial. It's not oversized, but the shape of the case, as well as the relatively strong structural features, gives it the impression of a bigger watch. Again, it's not a big watch, but it feels and looks substantial. You get the sense of a very meaty presence on the wrist. Even as you can see, the down the barrel shot leaves plenty of clearance on each side of my wrist, and from over the top you can see the lugs don't extend anywhere near the edge of my wrist. It's not even that thick, honestly. It'll slide underneath most cuffs. The bracelet is a 3-link design, and as you can see, there's a little bit of a staggering of the height of the links. They're not completely flush to each other, and that gives the bracelet a bit more depth. They're all satin finished on the top, polished on the flanks, and there's a little bit of a rolled bevel on the edge to transition between the two surfaces. You have removable links fixed by screws, and you can see that's true on both sides. You have a half link on either side of the clasp, which is a machined single fold with a twin trigger release. Turn the watch over to its crown side, and you can see that this particular watch has a rather remarkable crown guard structure. The case is handsomely faceted and considerably more involved than some of the 9S, 62GS, 44GS cases we've seen around. This is a watch that has a lot of personality. That's the best way to describe it. The tin plate polishing method that Grand Seiko calls Zaratsu polish is present and correct. It takes about 3 years to learn, and it's no mean feat. This is all manually done, and impressively so, as the optical effect achieved is very similar to black polish on Swiss movement components and highly mirrored. There are small strap tool holes in the lugs, as Grand Seiko still suspects, even in this day and age, that you might use a strap tool to swap out the bracelet and fit a strap. The case is strong in the mid-case region. On one side you have those angular faceted crown guards. On the other side you can see there's a little bit of a protuberance. The volume of the case expresses itself fully. There's a vertical and satin finished portion of the bezel that gives way to a conical and polished element. And the dial itself has a lovely cross-hatching pattern. There's real depth here, and it changes the tone of different parts of the dial, giving you the impression of considerable complexity compared to, say, a standard opaline satin or a sunburst. This is a distinctively Grand Seiko dial. That continues with the shape of the indices. You can see at 12 and 9 and 6 o'clock, as well as each individual index. It's not quite a baton shape, it's more of an extended lozenge. All of the indices, as well as the hands at center, are distinctive, black polished and micro-faceted, as these are finished on micrometric diamond milling tools by artisans who just create Grand Seiko dial furniture all day. The 24-hour GMT hand is fired blue steel, and as you can see, this is a GMT with both 12 and 24-hour time zones. You can really see the convenience of a GMT, whether you're a traveler or you simply have friends and business associates in far-flung time zones. It's easy to see the time where you are not. The 24-hour time zone gives you that AM-PM distinction. If you pull the crown out all the way, you also activate stop seconds, so you can hack the movement effectively. There's a power reserve indicator on the dial, and the automatic winding power reserve is 72 hours. It's spring drive, so you have that continuously smooth sweep of the seconds hand. There's no stagger, no stop, no jumping. It is a very accurate system with quartz precision and mechanical soul, accurate to within plus or minus 15 seconds a month, 30 joules, watchmaker assembled, watchmaker regulated, and when the time comes, watchmaker serviced, a serviceable for life movement, no motors, No batteries, no capacitors. All the energy is contained within the spring, which drives a governing wheel that creates an induced electrical current that wakes up a quartz oscillator. The governing wheel then uses electromagnetic forces effectively as a brake to slow down the release of energy and achieve that quartz-like timing precision. It is an extraordinarily complex system, as it took from 1977 to 2005 to launch the first automatic winding spring drive system, and that's what you have right here, automatic winding spring drive, water resistant down to 100 meters. Email tmosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Japanese domestic market Grand Seiko SBGE209 spring drive GMT.